Hello viewers, welcome back to my channel. So guys, after a long time I am back with a new Python video. In this particular video, the basic agenda will be that we will be discussing about what is vectorization and why is vectorization important to us. Then we will be seeing the difference between vectorization and loops, and I'll give you all an example related to a particular machine learning data set where I personally faced an issue, then I solved it with the help of vectorization method, and finally we will be executing a Python code in vectorization and loops. We will be seeing that which method can solve the particular task faster. So let's not waste our time, let's dive into our Jupyter notebook. Before that guys, if you have not subscribed the channel, do subscribe the channel on the bell notification, and I provide some services like career guidance and one-to-one mentorship. If you want to personally have a call with me, you can just click on this TopMate link and you can redirect, and you can personally book a call with me and get suggestions from me. So now let's not waste our time, let's dive into our Jupyter notebook. So guys, firstly, what is vectorization? Vectorization is nothing but performing computations of an entire array of data at once rather than iterating it one by one in the form of loops. Don't worry guys, I'll be providing a detailed article for whatever I'll be explaining in this particular video, so that you can refer that particular article and understand a bit more better. So that particular article link will be in this video description. So let me just tell you about this firstly. So what happened in loops is that if you want to execute a particular data set, or else if you want to read a data set, it will be iterating one by one column. That will take a lots and lots of time. But using vectorization, what we can do, we can directly read the entire data in array format at once. So this is the main advantage of vectorization. So this can save our computation time for the larger data sets as well. So guys, now let us see why is vectorization important to us. So vectorization is nothing but a numpy array technique only. So it at the background performs the operation like it will execute the entire data set in one go. So it is not like a for loop or something which can manipulate one row at a time and not others. So in this it will use the array format and it will directly manipulate the entire data set at one go. So now don't worry guys, I'll be providing that article. You can see in the article, if you read the article you will definitely understand what is vectorization and why is it important. So now let me just tell you all an example actually what I faced while performing a machine learning project and how did I solve it. So for that, just let me open that particular project. It is nothing but a Kaggle project, an earthquake dataset project. So in this it contains 123 years of earthquake dataset. But in this particular dataset there are many null values, so I have just treated that. I don't want to explain this particular project. If you want me to explain this particular project in detail, how did we do and what was the target column and everything, actually that particular project link I'll be giving in this video description. You can check out that Kaggle dataset also. There is no target column provided. You have to select by yourself. So I actually selected the depth column for as a target variable. So let me just show you all where I actually got stuck. I actually got stuck while doing encoding in this particular project. Yeah, at this particular encoding point. So each column contains so many unique values. If you can see net contains nearly so many unique values. So if I try to do ordinal encoding and other encoding does not work. So if I try to do one hot encoding, it will just give me a like so many columns, and this will lead to the dimensionality, so many dimensions. So I was not getting like what to do at that particular point of time. Then while researching I find out about the feature hashing technique. So in that particular feature hashing, you can see that particular library, and it is an encoding technique. Using that I have done, you can see a hashing coder. So using that particular coder I have done this. Then I got only 11 columns. When I did one hot encoding I got nearly 205 columns. so which is nothing but more dimensions, and it will lead to dimensionality reduction in that particular problem. So I solved that using this particular feature hashing technique, or else you can say that hashing encoder. So this uses vectorization method only. You can just check about feature hashing technique or else hashing encoder method. You will get to know detailedly about that. So now let's go to our topic firstly. So guys, now let us see our third point, that is the difference between loops and vectorization or vectors. So let me explain you all with this particular difference screenshot which is available to you all in the screen. So when it comes to vectorization, a vector is a one dimension array of value that all are of the same data type. So in vectorization you can perform the task in one go, but all should be in the same data type format or else in an array format. But when it comes to loops is in Python are used to iterate over a sequence of values and perform some actions on each iteration. So what happens in loops, it just iterates over each column, or else you can say that each data whatever is there, so it iterates over each column and it performs the operation. So it is different compared to vectors. Loops cannot perform everything in one go, it will take time, but in vectors it can perform everything in one go. It does not take that much of time compared to loops. So vectors are often used in mathematical and scientific computation and can be easily manipulated using vectorized operations in Python that is available in the NumPy library, and it supports in manipulating the vectors. So in NumPy library you can easily import the vectorization related problem, and you can easily perform the mathematical and scientific computations. But there are different types of loops in Python, including for loop, while loop and nested loop. There are many other loops in Python. If you want to know detailedly about the loops in Python, you can check out my loops in Python video. That particular video link will be in the iCard session as well as in the description. So it is used to automate the tasks such as processing the large data set and perform the series of calculations. Even in vectorization you can perform that, but in loops it takes lots of time compared to vectorization. Vectors are a data structure used for sorting and implementing array of values. What happens in vectors? In vectors it can sort the data and it can easily manipulate the arrays of the values. But when it comes to loops are just the programming constraint used for iterating over a sequence of values and perform action on each iteration. So when it comes to loops, what happens? It is like it can perform only the sequence of values, and it can just only iterate over each values. So here also when it comes to vectorization, sorting and manipulating, it can just perform very faster, but when it comes to the loops it will take more time in the large data sets. So are getting my point? So guys, now let us see our fourth point, that is the examples of both loops and vectors. So let us just import a sample dataset, or else let me just create a sample dataset. Don't worry, you will just easily get the understanding when you just see these two examples which I am gonna give you. I don't think you require more examples apart from this two. X is equals to np dot So now our x is done. Let me just check x. You can see 1 2 3 4 5. So now let us just do what we can do is, now we want to compute the squaring of each elements in an array. So we could use loops for that, and even we can use vectors for that. So to just square off an element and get the output, let us first use loops, then I'll just show you with vectors. Loops. So for I in range of length of x So x of I equals to x of I square 2. So now this got executed. You can see using for loop we have done this particular method to iterate over each particular value, and I should get the square of that particular value. So let us just check for that. Let me just print x. You can see here square of 1 is 1, square of 2 4, square of 3 9, 4 16, 5 25. Now let us just perform the same operation using vectorization. I hope you got about the using loops, how can you perform square. Just using for loop, it's a 2 line of code and you just got the output here. In vectorization it is not even 2 lines of code. You can just think that just 1 line of code at least. X is equals to, let us directly take x square of 2, and if I execute this, so now I directly got the vectorized method x. Let me just print x. You can see here 1, and it is giving me 16 here, 81 here, 256 and 625. Can you all guess why? Because our particular value is not this right now. If you want, let me to just directly execute this and show afterwards, but before that let me to just say you our particular values are not this right now. Now after performing for loop the values are this. So when you get square of this, you can see 4 4s are 16, 9 9s are 81. So it just used this particular values and it gave me the square. Let us just compare the answer by performing the same operation to this same data set which we have taken, I mean that first 5. So you can see here both are matching the answer right now, both for x using vectorization and using for loop. You can see the answers are same. So this is our first example, squaring of a number, squaring of number. Example 1 this is. So guys, now let us see our second example. For suppose, let us think that you have 2 arrays and you want to just find the sum of that particular array. You can do it using both loops and vectorization method. So let me just create the arrays first for you all. So of the array. So let me just create the arrays right now. A is equals to p dot array of phi, and let us just copy the same, and let me just make a bit small changes. Let me just make it as a B. Let us take this example only. So now we have the elements for both A and B. So you can see that they are in array format right now. So let us do one thing. Let us first perform the sum of that particular array using loops method. C is equals to np dot. So let us take like, let me just complete this. I'll just explain you all after that. For I in range of length of A and now C of I plus B of I. So is the code correct now? Let me to just execute this. So it got executed. Now let us just check C. So you can see here 7, 9, 11, 13, 15. So this is the particular sum. Let us take 6. You can see here it just added that particular elements. You can see for C it is giving me 7, 9, 11, 13 and 15. You can just check 6 plus 1 7, 7 plus 2 9, 8 plus 3 11. So using loops you can easily perform this particular method. So it's nothing but we have created a C variable and in that we have given a stored iteration method storing where after performing the sum that value should be stored, and that particular C we have called here. So that is using loops method. Now let us just see using vectorization method. So using vectorization method, same here again, just one line of code. C is equals to A plus B. So over. Now if you just see, you can see it is done. Let us just change this C because we have used C there also. Let us give it as N. So done. And now let us just check N right now. So you can see even in N it is giving the same. Both C also is giving me the same answer and even N is also giving me the same answer. So we have easily found out the sum of this particular two array methods. So guys, finally that's all for today's video. I hope you understood the difference between vectorization and loops. So if you have not understood it properly, you can check out the video again and you can even refer the article below. Just refer the article, you will get the detailed understanding about vectorization. So guys, that's all for today's video. Do like, share and subscribe the channel and definitely check out my TalkMate services and let's have a one-to-one interaction. Thank you all. Bye bye.